introduced this idea to my publisher, he said he wasn't sure about it because he said he published a lot of books on happiness, and he was not at all sure that any were helping to make anybody any happier. And I said, yeah, but the books that he was publishing on happiness were books like How to Be Happy Because You Got a Better Relationship, or Better Sex Life, or More Money in the Bank, or a better body. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about having a better mind and a better outlook and a better way of seeing, and the realization of the truth of the being of who we really are. It's not about anything in terms of what you can be in a wheelchair and be perfectly happy, or driving an expensive car and be miserable. And so it has nothing to do with the outside world. It has all to do with the inside, what's going on inside.
And that happiness is our true and natural state of being. That it's actually easier to access it. It's not hard to access it. It's right under our nose.
If you're honest.
You have one section here called "We're Not Done. We're Not Alone." That we're never alone, and I think that's what keeps people from being happy too. Is that the idea, the illusion of loneliness, and that's not the truth. And when we start to recognize our oneness with Spirit, all of those things that we thought we needed to be happy fall away, and so it's really not about getting things. It's just about letting, allowing to. Allowing yourself to recognize that it's already here. It's right under your nose.
One of the definitions you could say of unhappiness is the sense of being alone. It's a sense of being broken and separate and divided and split and not a part of whole and not a part of oneness. The Course talks a lot about oneness, and that's really, we're really turning back to the oneness. And actually, if you think about the things that make us the happiest, it's like probably the happiest experience we have in this world. Is the experience of falling in love. And when we fall in love, there's this sense of joining with the beloved. We've literally become one with the beloved. And we want to just give to the beloved. And that's really God's relationship to us. I mean, He just wants to give to us. But the question is our ability to, you see, of course, is one of the main problems we have. It's a major problem. It's the authority problem. So we say to God, well, thank you very much, God, but I'd really rather do it myself. And then we go off and we try to do it ourselves, and of course it doesn't work. And the only thing that we can do, being an all-wise Father, is to really do what He's telling us to do. But again, we have free will. So there's a very interesting section in chapter 2, very early in the Course, where He says, this is Jesus speaking, if I intervene between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with the most basic law there is in the universe. And the most basic law there is in the universe is the law of cause and effect. It says I can't, even I cannot interfere with that law. So we have to come to these conclusions or these decisions ourselves. That's the only way that you can really be happy, because it can't be forced on you. It would be like, that would be magic instead of a miracle. The miracle is a change of mind that happens when you have your aha and you see it and you get it.
And these ideas and concepts and laws have been around for forever. It's done unto you as you believe, and that's just changing and choosing love instead of fear. Or choosing fear and then getting fear. Getting more of that. Another thing that I love about A Course in Miracles is that it's not to be taken seriously. That there is a lightness about it.
Absolutely.
And when we start to take it too seriously or become too attached to it, we're strangling it. And that it almost is, for the beginner student, it is something that just needs to wash over you. And then even maybe for the more seasoned student, it is something not to be held on to, but to be shared. And those are the opposite ways that we've been trained here. And there's a section in this book, Living A Course in Miracles, in the beginning, where you talk about how, it's just this really great section. Although it's simple and it's easy to read the Course and not understand or be willing to accept it. We don't hear or get the Course because we have so overlearned the lessons of the ego that we are so accustomed to its voice, and we don't even know there's another voice, a voice of reason, a voice of sanity.
That's really one of the first steps, is to realize that there is another voice. Which is the voice for God, which is always there, always providing you with direction. I like to compare it with a GPS system, which is, you know, always giving you the correct guidance, exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
But you got to have your GPS turned on. You got to be paying attention. You got to be doing what it's asking you to do.
Yes, I love that. You were talking about that in the workshop the other night,
Right.
and you know how we're all programmed to go home. That we're all supposed to go back to
Right.
this oneness,
Right.
and that even when we make what we think is a wrong choice, that this intelligence just says recalculating.
Yeah, right.
It's like no blame, no shame, not personal,
No, right.
just recalculating. You
You're
want to
done.
take a little longer? That's cool.
That's right.
Well, I'm here.
We'll still get you
Right,
home.
right. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. We'll get you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that you're going to be back to Chicago. Chicago seems to be a nice thread in your journey, and it's a
Great city.
yeah, it's a great city. And I'm just really glad that you came out here again this time, and you'll probably be coming back and keeping us posted on your next book,
Sure.
Perfect Happiness. You know, I love that word "perfect" too, because you know, in 12-step they talk about, you know, progress, not perfection. But really, what we know through Course in Miracles too is that perfect means including everything.
Right.
You know, so there's nothing left out. There's nothing to be judged. It's all one.
Of course, uses the word perfect a lot.
Mhm.
We had a perfect teacher
Mhm.
in the guidance in the Holy Spirit.
Mhm.
Perfect clarity, perfect vision,
Mhm.
perfect purity.
Right.
Yeah, I think the word appears 480 sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. As
So-
a preface to something else.
Wow. So
Right,
what
perfect
is?
joy.
I know this is a silly question, but just because we can be silly, what is your what's your favorite color? No, what's your favorite thing? That's an elf
Don't
question.
ask me about the favorite passage or something.
No, just like what's your favorite aspect? I know that it's a thing that continues to draw you in, but what is your favorite aspect? I know mine is that we don't take it too seriously. But do you
Well, I
have
think
a favorite
the
aspect?
most exciting part about the Course is that it works. I mean,
Yeah.
it literally transforms people's lives
Yeah.
by giving them another way of seeing. And you have to study it. We have a workbook, we have
Mhm.
a teacher's manual,
Mhm.
you know. But once you do start studying it, and once you begin you get it, and gets more and more. The Course just consistently gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
Right.
But then that's just also leading into greater happiness all along the way.
Yes, amen. And what I noticed too is I've been studying it for about 15 years, and the way that I study it now compared to the way I studied it when I began, like, I mean, I can only see myself or define myself. And when I began, I started teaching it right away, and still I can see myself as a reluctant learner. You know,
Oh, sure.
and so even though now I feel more immersed and deeper into the practice, into the theology of it, or the principles of it, I might even 2 years from now look back and consider myself a reluctant learner.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh, yes.
You know?
I mean, yes, absolutely. In fact, that's true. You do look back and you realize how far you've come along the way.
Yeah, and you just keep getting deeper into it, and it feels like a book that is alive to me, because as much as I've read it and studied it, I still always come to it and go, wow.
Yeah, wow. That's the amazing part of it. The wows just keep getting deeper and more profound all the way.
Right.
That's because the Course is going all the way. It's going all the way home. You know, it's going all the way to enlightenment. That when you get enlightened, you're done with the Course.
Right.
But I don't know anybody that's
No.
really done with the Course. We're all still working our way home.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and in the idea of enlightenment, as in the same idea of happiness, it's not about, having to get something, but undoing and undoing and undoing and undoing and undoing until there's just nothing left but God.
That's right. Nothing left to undo.
Yeah.
Right. You're home.
Yes, exactly.
Welcome home.
Exactly. So, well, we're on the journey.
Yeah.
We're on course.
Literally.
Yeah.
In fact, as the magazine that I published, Miracles Magazine, for years was called On Course.
Really?
Yeah, and there was another magazine called Miracles prior to that, and that's why. And then when that magazine failed, I called up the publisher and I said, "You got a copyright on this name? You still want it?" And he said, "No," and I said, "Well, I'm taking it."
Oh, that's
So we switched from
cool.
On Course to Miracles.
And that is
Yeah.
a publication that you can buy a subscription to
Sure.
per month, and your first one's free, so you can check it out. And you can go to, what's the website for it?
miraclesmagazine.org.
Miraclesmagazine.org, and it's tons of great information. Even
Right.
sometimes you publish some poems from Helen, you know, from her
Mhm.
book, and
Sure.
all kinds of teachers and instructors are there with great
Right.
articles. So,
Right.
well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome,
visiting.
Maureen. Nice being with you in Chicago.
Yeah,
Uh,
and we'll be back, I'm
we will.
sure.
Okay.
Thank you.